Hey everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today we are going to be painting this really fabulous D&D inspired image. So we've got tentacles reaching up from the depth of the dungeon, and we have dice falling. We had a background for it. I'm sure we have the picture-in-picture though, at least, right?
I'm working on that right now. We just had the wrong
We meant to start
queued.
with a background.
Just
You know what we're painting, right? Oh my gosh.
We'll be there in a moment.
Okay. So we're going to be using acrylic paint today. This is a 12 by 12 round canvas. If you go to the website, I have a blog about don't let round canvases freak you out, because there's a lot of things that you can do even if you have a regular rectangle or square canvas to make a round image work that are really, really gorgeous. You'll be able to paint along. I will be doing a traceable, but I've decided to do it after the show today. And the reason for that is that as I paint, I may change different things about this. And I want to make sure that your traceable reflects what you're seeing on the image here. So is everybody ready to like get into this and like totally
I
paint?
think so. Everyone seems super excited to be here. Other than, I can't get my technology working. Everything seems pretty good.
As per the usual.
As per the usual.
As per the usual. Because you know what? Technology is secretly evil. People don't know this, but it's true. Technology is secretly evil, and sometimes you just roll a critical fail. But we don't have one of those. I would say we didn't quite make the tumble. We did not evade with the tumble, sir.
What it is that, like, I have disappearing software.
Shall we see how the painting is going to go? No!
It's a 2020 roll.
No, it is a 2020 roll. Well, you guys might as well go. I'm still going to paint it because I agreed to do it. But now you know it won't work out. And at least we have our expectations managed at this point. I have a round surface that I have painted completely black. I use these wood surfaces, and I find like 2 coats of black paint does them fairly well for being sealed and taking paint. They have not been, I'm getting made up by my own moderators. Thank you all for the support. If that turns out to be true,
What's that?
That the dice was true, they're predictive dice. It's just the way the year has been going. So I'm going to use this to give myself a straight line, whether I'm painting a round canvas, whether I'm painting a square canvas. If I have a water line, the first thing that I can do to give myself success in relationship to that water line is to create as level of a mark as I can.
So you know what I think it is?
You ever hear water seeks its own level?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm going to put that there. My roll or 2020?
Well, all of the above. See, I think 2020 is rejecting any natural 20s in 2020. So
I think 2020 is rejecting natural 20s in 2020.
Like, you can only critical fail in 2020.
This is I would like to manifest more people at my live show, not a critical one. I feel like that's a misappropriation of my manifesting skills. 0 points in bluff. So I'm going to pre-sketch this in with a little bit of a chalk just to give myself an idea where some objects are laid out, and then I will be painting things in. I know that I'm going to want to have my little wonderful triangular die up here. You could also use your T-square in this space to make sure that you have nice straight lines, but I feel okay to freehand it in. I do. I feel all right about that at this point. Freehanding it in just a little bit seems okay to me. I'm going to put a little bit in perspective, so I'll give it a little bit of a shade bottom, like, ooh, we're kind of showing it, but not really. We'll see how that goes. I may just paint it like straight since I got the critical fail rule warning. We're going to also have some wonderful splashes up here, and we've got a series of tentacles coming from the bottom. I would actually say the hardest thing probably about this will be the dice, just trying to keep them feeling like dice. We have lots of dice references laying around, as you can see.
Yep.
So, if you want to get your gamer on, and this is going to be a really good gift this holiday season for the gamer in your life. I think it's something that anybody would want to have on their wall. I'm going to freehand probably in my tentacles, but let's put in some water drops.
See, this is the thing. Technology is evading me today.
The roll spoke. I'm telling you, they can all click away. There is no lesson.
Well, so what's crazy is that My Skype broke.
What?
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't have any of the stuff. It's because Skype just said nope.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just.
And then I rolled that roll.
It's,
That is bad. The dungeon gods are not with us.
it said.
I don't know who we need to pray to today for this. Because basically, as an artist, what's my class? It's Bard, right? I don't have any cool skills here. I guess I encourage you and buff your activity to improve, but my own skills kind of suck, so...
That's not true.
It is, Bard. Don't down thumb me because I said that. Now I'm going to start to dress in the gesture of my tentacles. Tentacles are so super fun to do.
You're going to invoke an entire class of players.
I do. I am. And then all of a sudden I'm going to... And they're creative trolls. I probably should not have...
Like, you picked the one class you probably should not be doing
Had
that
started smack with? Yeah, totally. It's true, though, isn't it?
Where did it go?
Just making sure I have a general sense of where I might want my tentacles to be. I might move this one up here just a little bit off there. And then, of course, we have... This one peaks from here and kind of comes down. These lines and these expressions kind of help us direct where we're going to paint the tentacles, and then where we put the light, how we widen it, how we narrow it, and where we put the suckers is how it's going to help us face it. Even though these are tentacles, believe it or not, this will help you with a ribbon. Similar principles. Similar principles.
That's a lovely sound it keeps making.
Isn't it wonderful? I don't know if they can hear it. He's got very curly tentacles today. He's fancy. You know, I've got this tentacle coming up to here. It's a pretty big one. Then we have, hey, take it. This little tentacle coming there. And then somewhere here, there's a little hint of a tentacle behind in our water. We have the splashdown coming down, and we really only need to do the tentacles here and up here in this middle space. So they'll be very loosely painted in, so when we do the water that they're showing in there. Now, I'm going to put out some quinacridone magenta.
Okay.
Like you do. What's funny?
I finally got the Skype window to work.
Now it's working. Now the Skype window intends to be nice to you.
Oh, I totally see the background image that you were talking about.
Yep.
And understand what you meant.
Yep.
Totally cool.
It's fine. It's good.
Hey, look, they have an outro to look forward to.
They have an outro to look forward to. That's absolutely true. Let's put a little white out here. And I think I might get some Cad Red and some brown involved. So let's pull out some Cad Red. You guys know how I like my Quinn and my Cad Red together. We might as well make our little tentacle dude seem pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
This particular painting is a 3-hoot, made a little bit easier if you get your traceable, if drawing is not your friend.
Do we have a traceable?
It will be, like I said, at the beginning.
Oh, that's right.
It'll be ready after the show. Because I'm going to change the tentacles a bit. Some of the splashes will change, and I want you guys to have the most accurate traceable you can have. I'm putting out burnt sienna.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling right now in my tentacles, I've got Cad Red, quinacridone magenta, Cad Yellow medium, burnt sienna, and titanium white. Might want more titanium white, but that's what's out now. I've been palette knife painting, so, using up the paint left and right.
So there's our reference image.
Yay!
So you can kind of see where we're
going.
So
you can see where we're going. This is what we're painting today. The reference image was not a lie. It is definitely our goal for the day. Now, to make things easier for myself, I'm actually going to start out with a pretty big brush because I want to get the basis of this in expeditiously. You can use any round that you're comfortable with. I'm going to get this. This is a number 12, a pro for this show, Black Pearl. And I'm going to take a little of my Cad Red and my quinacridone magenta and a smidge of my burnt sienna, and we shall forever call this octopus color.
Ooh.
I have to say, in all seriousness, John, the crit Totally scared me. It did. It completely got in my head.
This is if a good GM would totally lean into that. You know.
I know you're gonna.
Your first opening roll is a 1. Man, your confidence as a player certainly is shaken.
Just shaken. I have to say, like, all the things that have shaken me on YouTube, that one has been the most.
Dun, dun, dun. You know what, though? I have to say, those dice, you know, everybody says that, but that particular set of dice rolls more 1s than any other set of dice I've ever had.
Well, why would you put it on the table?
Hey, those are player dice. Those are player dice. I didn't, those are not the DM dice. Those are not my dice. Those are just, you know, those are the dice that someone's like, hey, can I borrow some dice?
You knew I would roll.
I didn't
You
predict
had
this.
to know I would roll.
Well, I didn't think you'd pick the bad 20.
You know, I don't know why you couldn't see that coming. That's something I feel like you should know is happening.
Do you see the blue ones over there? Those are
There's
much
no
better
coming back from it. We've all seen it. We know it happened.
And then
there's no recovering.
You didn't even roll the cool 4-sided die that's up there on the right.
Which not this one.
No, the little, not the one that looks like a pyramid. The one that looks like a little scroll. It's blue.
Oh. Look, it's just not getting better, dude. Stop.
You have to. That wasn't even a. There you go. So you rolled it.
Almost.
That's what it's supposed to do.
It's not helping. I don't believe in myself anymore. I give up. You've now seen the thing that can completely shake me to my core and cause me to lose belief in myself. It's dice. They're a little too real for me. I'm putting out a little phthalo blue.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is so that I can create a shadow where necessary. I'm just painting out this little underpainting of the red tentacle. We'll refine them later with more detailed brushes. I just want to get the big aspects of it out.
Yeah.
So that when I come in later, I can give it a lot of detailing. Sometimes in painting, there's this sort of stage of just getting it laid in. I'm loading up. It's a quinacridone and Cad Red. Let's just paint along. Have the gnomes gone out?
They just did.
All right. Well, the gnomes are there to help people, right?
We'll put a little reference behind you.
That's a good idea. Just for the moment.
Just for the moment.
You guys know the direction that we're going.
As we need it, we'll pull it out.
As we need it, we'll pull it out. And now I'm going to add a little of the blue to this mix. Create kind of a shadow color, and I'll paint here. That way the tentacles that are pushed back have a nice basis as well, including the ones that are going to be sort of hinted at in the water. You know, because you got to hint some tentacles as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is required. You see, it gets your nice big amounts out. You get your little curlicues going. And let's switch to either a cat's tongue or a number 4 round. I'm going to go with a number 4 round. I'm going to take my number 4 round. This is an Art Sherpa number 4 round. So we just used a number 12 round, just a big round to get things laid in. And I'm going to go back and mix my 2 basic octopi colors with a little burnt sienna. And I'm going to kind of refine and define these tentacles using my detail brush. The other color I can use to push back the tentacles and everything is black. Another value or shade that I can do. This is our second D&D painting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Depending on how you look at it, we could apply
You count the
a lot
dragons.
of them to
You
that
count the
universe.
dragons. Is that what it is?
Well, there's the dragons, the beholders, the zombies.
The beholder for sure.
The
was
Krakens,
a
the
D&D.
mermaids, the gnomes.
Yeah, but they weren't like from D&D though.
But they definitely are falling in the fantasy universe.
They fall in the fantasy universe.
You could even go
For
so
sure.
far as to say the butterflies with all the sparkly magic background.
You could say it, but you wouldn't be accurate.
They're
So
fantasy.
we just got the coolest thing I have to tell you guys about. I almost wish I had it out because the artwork in it was so spectacular. We got the D&D cookbook. I'm coming back with a little bit of black too. Kind of refine some of that space.
You know, I really have been enjoying.
Oh, I'm so glad the interrogation is over. There was this bright interrogation light like in my eye, and I
was like
can
wondering what it
barely
was, too.
see.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was. We had a light sitting in the wrong place. It was shining on both of us. It was like,
Happening.
Yeah. Okay, so now
So I'm going to come here, and if you notice, the tentacles will come in.
that's a little better.
And so we've got to sort of paint their shading. And come in with a little bit of black there. Just create a deeper value of the orange. The lightest part of this tentacle will be the little suckers coming out. And they will twist through our little octopus friend here.
Now, I missed the question earlier because I was having a little technical question. That pencil you were using, there was anything special about that one?
Yeah, these are General's pastel chalk pencils in white.
Okay.
They remove with water, and I really, really like them. All right. I see lots of people here today.
Yeah, we've got a really nice group of people, especially folks out here chatting, having a good time. Thank you guys for joining us.
That is always nice. Now, tomorrow is the beginning of Grateful Art, which is all fantasy, which, we've now learned from John, he would consider to all be D&D art.
Well, it can fall into that universe. It could be Tolkien. It could be fantasy.
I would say I'm like more in the Tolkien space on this upcoming week. Tomorrow kicks it off with the girl in the blue dress running into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a really fun one. So highly, if you just need a break from everything going on in the world, I just want to invite you to come join us.
Yes, please do. We would look forward to seeing you there.
I'm just coming back with my black. And as you can see, you can come back with your black and detail out or make more delicate, as you would, the octopus. Isn't that nice? Let's continue to talk about the spacing of where our tentacles will go, which right now I'm just using black and red, which if you watched my video, you know makes a type of brown.
How many hoots? How difficult do you think this is?
I'm going to say that there is definitely a 3 hoot capacity here of this.
Okay.
I would say that there's some 3 hootin'. Definitely some 3 hootin'.
So it definitely could fall into the more challenging side of
Yeah,
things.
I would say this is more challenging. Less, if you don't draw and you use the traceable, it will get you back to a nice even space. You can see I'm kind of turning the tentacles here.
Yeah.
Where you see these black lines is where the tentacles are going to be facing me, and that's how I'm going to...
Okay. This is a super good question.
I love super good questions. Oh, and if you see Patty, let me know when you see Patty.
Okay. I think she's already... I may have seen her, but I'll keep an eye
If you're
out.
here, Patty, Norman is the best gnome ever. If she's not here, you remind me to tell her again.
Okay. So, it can... In the Art Sherpa official, are you allowed to post up original paintings on any surface such as your face?
On Fine Art Friday, absolutely.
It's the 31st, though. It's like today's Friday Art,
Oh.
Saturday, Halloween.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like today.
Can we make a Halloween exception for face painting?
I think we can make a Halloween exception for costumes today. And if it happens to be face painting, let's definitely, if we're not letting in costumes on the Facebook group, let's let in everybody's costumes today.
But it has to still
as long as they're not offensive and they're family friendly.
They still have to abide by Sherpa rules. Meaning you can't be divisive. We know that there's some very, very funny political ones out there. You guys,
and we appreciate your humor, but we don't love Facebook fighting.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to let artistically represent. Like if you're doing a face painting, you've got some crafty thing, you want to show it off, please, 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 please.
Yeah,
share.
that'd be fun. I would love to see.
But if it is one of those things that's going to be a little upsetting, religious, political, any of those things, please, this is probably not the good space for it.
No.
Just respect. Yeah. We're trying to be fun and in the spirit of the holiday, dressy up. Let's all make it and keep it fun for each other.
Yeah, we should definitely keep it fun for each other. I'm going to say I want this tentacle. I actually want this far tentacle to maybe pull in front of this one. So I may start its peak there and then do this one maybe more. I'm taking the black and I'm just.
You're gonna go to the wall?
I'm gonna go. What do you mean?
You're gonna take the black. You're gonna go to the wall. You're gonna serve the Empire along with John Black on the ice wall. You didn't catch any of that, did you? You just went
Empire.
right over
that was Game of Thrones. What are you talking Empire?
I know, but I just skipped.
You just like property. Totally switched franchises. Own it.
But you said you were gonna take the black, not me.
You know what? You make me want to take the oath of black. Sometimes do that. Sit on an ice wall, wearing all black fur. I'll do it.
I'm not sure.
You make me want to sometimes, sir.
I don't know about that.
We're gonna kind of shave this around here. Oh my gosh! You just made me want to take the oath. You do.
Here we are. We're in the Shire, and you're talking about going living on an ice wall.
You did it, and I at least corrected you because you went Star Wars ice wall. Let's just own it.
I did?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't know the difference between the Death Star and the Red Keep.
Well,
I just threw down.
I would have to say that a dragon. So it's I don't know, man. This is kind of a tough one because the Death Star was taken out by a single X-wing due to a serious design malfunction overflow.
Alyssa Otter, I have a T-shirt that says "I'm really a dragon. This is my human costume. I'm doing dragon and I'm doing dragon makeup." Nikki's like, "Could you do painting of Frankenfurter?"
Can you?
At the late night double feature. Picture show. You should search on Google.
Bring your toast and rice.
Because I already did. I have one. I have one of the mouth. Mm-hmm. And we gave up monetization and we even played the song because we were like, man, let's just play the song. There we go. Just gonna kind of hit this here. Kind of twist it out there, and then I think I'll twist it back there. That'll be nice. So when I get into the tentacles, I like to really play with the twist. I used to do a lot of gaming art for my friends. So critical fail at the beginning of the video aside. Mm-hmm. It should be okay. I've been here before. Turn these tentacles. Turn them, sir.
Yes.
You've got to turn the tentacles. Know that you've got to. Little curly curls. Curly curls, sir.
The curliest of curls.
The curliest of curls. Curl your little tentacles. Enjoy the process. I mean, will this be as good as the Necrotic Beholder?
Could be.
What could be, though? Really, what can top the Necrotic Beholder? Quinacridone Magenta, Cad Red, and Burn Sienna, guys.
I really liked the dragon, the WoW dragon. That one was pretty good.
Was that a pretty good one? I like that one, too. We did a really good WoW dragon. Oh, and we have At the Vincent van Gogh Starry Night, it's the first place that you land at. The Two Towers thing in WoW.
Yep.
We have that as well. You need to say the name of what it is, though, because I don't remember the name. The name in WoW of that first place that you land that we did the Two Tower painting of.
Oh. You're talking about Undercity?
Mm-hmm. No? Maybe, yes. Two Towers in Undercity?
Where you go outside Undercity and there's the two towers
Yep.
that are the
We have
towers?
a Vincent van Gogh painting there. It's just one of those secret ones that we have that people forget that we have.
I guess it's outside. Depending on how you look at it, if you fly to Brill, it's sort of you go to
I'm adding a little bit of blue here to sort of deepen this.
There's the Zeppelin Towers right outside of Undercity on the top.
The background tentacles, because you want to feel like it's very full as you go, right? You do want to feel like it's very, very full. As we come up here, let's get into some tentacle color, because we've got to give ourselves some other tentacles. And we're going to do these loosely because we need to paint the water in, but just so we know where they are when we get in here and start getting real crazy with the detail work. There we go. That's a very tentacle little motion that this one decided to make. Decided to be all whimsical, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. There we go. Tentacles are starting. The beginning of the tentacles.
Yeah.
You know? All right. Linda Sue wants to know if there's such a thing as a little castle. Yes, watch Father Brown. It was just on this last episode we watched. Your tiny little castle. Which I've seen in Martin and a bunch of other kind of like little stories that are going on all of the time. So we have this all happening. We need to start getting some of the water worked out. I'm going to take my blue and a little of my black initially starting out. And then when I get my white into it, we're going to start to see the water line. So let's first talk about this water line. This is pretty much a universal thing that you've got to do whenever you're painting anything that's talking about what is above the water and what is below the water. This little white line is kind of going to always be there. Because that's the slice of the world. Now you have the beginnings of something.
Something.
Something. I'm going to come here and we'll start to do our drop. So the outside of this drop is pretty smooth and gray. Kind of a similar area. And this is really about capturing all the little twists and highlights that happen in the water, while still keeping our dark value showing.
Yeah.
That's the trick of that. I'm just using my number 4 round. I haven't moved out of that at all. Got a little bit of a little highlight there. And this is going to go behind our tentacle. You'll see me dipping in water a lot to thin because I need the paint to flow out fairly easily on my brush. And again, it's light gray at this stage. I come back with white highlights in a minute. when you're painting water, you're really only ever painting the reflections.
Hmm.
You can see we've got a bit of our drop coming up. It's starting to think about itself.
Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. A little splashy, splashy.
Yeah. We will add some little drops that are flashing up. See how that's looking. There we go. See them splashing?
Yeah.
They're just happy and easy and fun. Happy and easy and fun. How is everybody doing?
Looking pretty good.
I'm going to sip my coffee. That's why I'm asking.
What
brush? Oh, okay. I got it too. Alex 3 clips. This is a number 4 Art Sherpa Round. And you might think, oh, God, she's selling a brush. She's going to tell me I have to buy this brush. This is a cool brush. There are other cool brushes. What you're looking for is a firm brush with a sharp point so that you can get details out of it. If the brushes you have don't give you details, then try getting a smaller detail brush.
Mm.
So, not that I think the world of my brushes. I do. I absolutely do. I just also understand you're not the only brush in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, did we get the text out?
We just did. Well, yeah, it went out a little while ago.
Oh, my goodness. So, continuing to paint.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Critical roll aside.
There we go. I like the detail of that brush can get.
I do as well. I think it's a pretty terrific brush for that purpose. For that purpose, it's a pretty terrific brush. And we're going to be here a minute. So, you guys have a second. You can rewind. You can fast forward. You can catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that how many little D&D fans we have in our community. I wonder how many gamers. If you play, or you're here because somebody in your life plays and you're looking to do the painting for them, shout us out and let us know what got you here today. Just pulling up some of that water. The wonderful thing about these water splashy ones is that and the tentacles, all of it will come together to give you a more realistic than you expect aspect of a painting.
Mm. As you're working in this, is this considered tight work where you're trying?
Yeah, it's certainly for the stuff that we do, it's very tight too. When you do this stuff where you're paying attention to all these little details and values, you are not painting it loosely.
Mm-hmm.
Not that this wouldn't be a beautiful loose painting, because of course it would. Making these little dots there. Those are little bits of the water, maybe. Because when the water comes up, it's not in any way white. Right? You only see the reflections that are happening. I can imagine him coming up from deep in the dungeon. I have a question. I need to submit a nature fantasy painting on Tuesday. Submit a nature fantasy painting on Tuesday, and where are you submitting it? That's Alex. 3 Clips is asking that question. Where are you submitting it? And then I may be able to help you with ideas. Oh, Amy says 92% of her family are gamers. And here's what, you know how you know that's true? She gave you that accurate percentage. She calculated very much, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll go ahead and put my little red tentacle back in a little bit later. Right now, I just want to make sure I've got this happening right here. This wonderful top splash of water, which really comes in super, super fast. So with water, it's kind of about the gray area, a very hot white area, and making sure that you've got a deep value in it as well. It's also important to do like reflections in the water of colors that it has around. So like here in the splash, you might see a little bit of the blue from the dice. Did we get an answer back and then I missed it?
I'm sorry. I was technically doing some things there.
I'm trying to find to my school. This is a contest. Well, the first thing I would definitely say is check the rules of the contest and, ask if it's got to be like, are you allowed to do a tutorial? If you're allowed to do a tutorial, I would love to shout out to the Sherpettes. What's your favorite fantasy painting that fits that? Because I have so many fantasy paintings. And so there's a lot to choose from. There's On Fire Space Unicorn, pretty fantasy based. But if you're not allowed to use a tutorial or a class, try Pixabay and search fantasy. That is an excellent resource. And then the other place you can look is Paint My Photo and Upsplash. Though I think Pixabay has a better selection of fantasy-based stuff.
It seems that we have a lot of Animal Crossing players with us. Probably a lot more modern digital gamers than tabletop.
I wonder
gamers.
if I should have done Animal Crossing.
You know what? Maybe that's the next thing we'll do is an Animal Crossing thing. That would be fun. There's a lot of cool Animal Crossing images.
Feels like the dice accurately predicted everything here. I feel like the dice saw it.
I think you're easily
I don't know.
swayed.
I went by and visited the stream.
Did you?
Yeah.
How did it go?
It's fine. All right, so you take a look at that. That is the gray value that we would do, say, in our water. I want to make sure that, this little kind of spittle up here is a little more connected than that's got a bit.
Oh, Patty says Animal Crossing for sure.
Patty Hoffman, tell Norman he's amazing.
And Heather wants to ask if you're going to include the paint and brushes in the description.
Yes, I will include. So far what we've used is a number 12 black pearl, but I want to say conditionally, you just want to use a brush that lets you paint stuff in shorter time than an hour. And then I'm using a number 4 round. I'm using a number 4 round. And while I'm here, since I'm here already, I'm going to take my yellow and a little of my black. Interestingly enough, oftentimes in landscape painting, yellow and black is used as a green.
Why is that? How's that done?
Well, because the black actually, in the world of painting, kind of is a blue. And so when you mix it into the yellow, you get a very muted green, desaturated green, which is common in landscapings. There are a lot of landscape paintings. There's a lot of greens in landscape that are muted. So I just mentioned that because a lot of teachers will tell their students don't use black in your landscape paintings, but I would like to suggest to you is don't use too much black in your landscape paintings is what they really mean.
Nice. Oh, you moved on me.
I did. I did, and you weren't watching.
I was reading chat.
You were reading chat, and I moved on you to the yellow dice. Get my sharp edges in. The things look like they're supposed to look. I may even come here and paint back a tentacle, because you can do that. Now I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to splurge on some titanium fluid paint. Gonna splurge. I'm splurging. Oh, she's going to take a giant cherry blossom tree and some big mushrooms and fireflies and tall grass, so it's nature and fantasy. Well, we certainly have a lot of lessons that cover all of those things. A lot of cherry blossom, a lot of mushrooms, a lot of tall grass, a lot of sparkles, a lot of butterflies. I have like 1,000 lessons, so my suggestion is to go into the search feature on the channel, just search keywords. And then also go to our website and search keywords, because you'll find a lot of projects that cover all those things. And then just watch the part of the project that relates to what you're working on. Now I'm going to come in and make every once in a while I'll come in and add some white highlights to these water splashes. And that's because some of it would be very bright and catch light. I don't know, on their torches, I suppose. I need to add a little bit of a white highlight to the water as well. Little bits to the bubbles that splashed up. If you're having any trouble with your brush, you can always size down. I'm still on my number 4, but that's just because this brush has a good point. I think we have these on the website, don't we? Do we have some number 4 rounds?
I would have to see. We only had a handful available.
Okay, well, so, there were some on our store on the website. I don't know if there's still some.
We're working on getting another big shipment in here, though. So
okay. I don't know if they're still there. You can also kind of come in with, like, if you don't want it to be the brightest white in the world, you can kind of come in and, you know, add some value. So you can kind of see how that's happening there.
Yeah.
Just coming through, catching a bit of the highlights. Little dots and dashes will often help it feel flashy. Little bits to pop it and make it feel splashier and
splashier and splashier.
Splashier and splashier. Wherever the water wrinkles and ripples is where you'll see like a lot of like crazy highlights and cool bits. I like to capture little elements of that there. I'm going to come along here and highlight some of the little water highlight. Now, when we hit this in the underneath, when we get a bunch of this going kind of underneath everything, that is when this whole thing is going to just pop, 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 pop.
Is there a Sherpa round brush smaller than a 4?
There are several detail Sherpa brushes. We have a number 1.
Ooh.
And we have a tiny, tiny filbert and another teeny, tiny long brush. So they are, oh, here's the other one. So then we have this teeny, tiny one. This is a 3-0. Like small enough to paint miniatures. And actually would be really good for painting miniatures, these brushes. Especially the filbert, which I don't know I have one of those out. But yeah, we do. We have smaller than that. You can see how it's coming in. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and take a little of my yellow. Still with a kind of a bit of black into it, but I'm going to highlight my dice a bit. Pop up their sense of yellow, yeah. Maybe a little white into the mix, and I come here and highlight along the edge. As you would.
That reminds me of the triangle dude
Bill?
from Uncle Grandpa.
Not Uncle Grandpa. It's oh, you mean the cheese? The pizza?
What's the
No, Bill from
Bill.
Gravity Falls.
Bill? Yeah.
I'm worried about you.
Well, Gravity Falls was
I'm genuinely concerned about him. Now we're missing Gravity Falls.
I didn't get to watch Gravity Falls the way you guys did. I only got to see bits and pieces.
Gravity Falls is amazing. I'm like on my third rewatch of Gravity Falls. It's incredible. So what's incredible? Owl House, fantastic. Gravity Falls, fantastic. Dragon Prince, fantastic. If you like animation, Wakfu, fantastic.
I'm enjoying the reboot of Red Dwarf. Smegging fantastic.
He did, but then he fell asleep in the middle of it because the episodes are like an hour and a half. Only the British would do that. What is going on with you guys? Give us 30 minutes, give us an hour. We're Americans. We don't have this attention span.
But they have
an
good
hour
humor.
And 30 minutes.
Okay, so this is the thing. Those guys have more writing talent in the first 10 minutes than DC does all season.
You have to start already.
It's true.
You're trying to distract from the fact that you've mixed up the Empire and Tolkien, that you've you're so confused.
I'm serious. You will laugh more times watching the first 10 minutes of Red Dwarf than you will watching an entire season of any WB
Batman's not funny.
DC universe.
Batman's not funny, and you can't pull the WB in. That's just wrong. My favorite science fiction book series right now that I'm reading is the Demon Codex, Taming Demons for Beginners. It's a whole series of 4. It's a story arc in another series. And I totally want it to be like a TV series, but I still haven't written the WB for it. Everybody else I've asked, even HBO, who betrayed me. Betrayed us all with their Game of Thrones. Let's keep dotting here. We're going to come in and we make these little highlights at the top. There we go. There we go. Isn't that looking lovely?
You see Suki Sue sees some birds. I see the birds.
Where are the birds?
On your palette. See the red bird? That's like a penguin-y bird.
A little bit of bird.
Yeah, bird.
There's always some weird animal on my palette, isn't there?
Yeah.
Always a weird animal. Continuing to dot here. As you would. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you here.
Be honest.
The numbering is not going to be my friend.
Why not?
I don't have a neat hand. I'm going to do what I can do.
That's all right.
I'll get a monogram liner out. You can try paint pen. However you get through your stuff, it's all fine. I'm just saying it's not my strong suit. And now I've got a nice little series of droppy waters.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm also going to take a little bit of my blue and some of my yellow, just a titch of yellow. I can always come in with some phthalo green, but I just want to make sure. There it is. Into that wacky green blue that those dice are in. And let's make sure that we've got some of that kind of showing here. Because it would reflect up in the water and we will feel sad if we don't have it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to pull out my monogram liner. And I'm going to grab a little bit of black onto it and try to get it as thin as possible. And let's see if I can, I'm going to bring this over here, see if I can even do this.
Where are you going?
I'm just trying to decide the angle in which I can write things. No, it's just hard for me. Just be with me. Just follow me around, sweetheart. I'm going to have to turn it again to get to the 4.
I know.
It's just a hot mess. Lettering is not my friend. But there's some lettering now.
There is.
And I will give it some lettering highlights like you would have. Because it's dice. Okay, there we go. I don't know what to say about that. Can you heat my coffee? It's you know what? It is what it is, guys. It's lettering.
I like it. It turned out good.
It's just, yeah. So many tentacles. Why did I do this again? Oh, yeah. I like D&D. I thought other people would like D&D too. So.
Do you remember how a lot of people came back? Or I'm not.
Mm.
Like a whole lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Having got to get the. There we go. Trying to get caught up to where I'm at so I can see. Diane Canup, you actually have 3 word animals on your palette, at least 3. I have a real problem with making hair, any tips, or fur. I have several videos about this. Like, I think there's even a whole hair playlist. If my moderators could get the link to that playlist or some videos on hair, we've done a lot of in-depth hair. One of the simplest tips I can give you is to get a grass comb filbert. Grass comb filbert. It's a fantastic brush, and it does help you make hair. You know, you still have to work your techniques. You still have to think about what you're doing, but it does help you make hair. It does. I really like my splashy. The splashy does not make me mad.
You're great.
So let us.
You guys can't hear me. I was saying this is turning out really good. And, you know, these are one of those things where it's like, you can't judge a Kraken till he's complete.
Let's get a little of our Cad Red, Quin Magenta, Cad Yellow, and some white. Can't judge a Kraken until he's complete. This is
One
an
word
interesting.
for you.
What?
Cthulhu. Seriously, don't underestimate a tentacle-faced monster.
I have never underestimated Cthulhu. You didn't even watch Lovecraft Country.
I'm saying a mind flayer shows up, run. Don't negotiate, just run.
Actually, anything from Cthulhu's universe shows up, just run. Things have gone wrong.
If it has tentacles on it and it's talking, run.
We're going to make a bunch of little peachy circles. You guys ready?
Nothing good could come from a land-based
peachy
octopus.
circles. So many peachy circles. You're going to be so sick of peachy circles by the end of this. You're going to be like, never want to see another peachy circle again.
Well,
And then I'm going to come back with some news like, oh, but we're not done with peachy circles.
You know what? You know what a Kraken calls those? Hugging kisses.
Hugging kisses?
They go,
you know what? I just messed up.
did you?
I did.
What's that?
I put it in the wrong spot. Ignore me, guys.
Why is that in the wrong spot? You could
It's
be
in
an
the wrong spot.
outward-facing tentacle.
Because I moved where I wanted his tentacles to face
Oh.
for aesthetics.
All right.
So I'm going to come back here and kind of paint the outside of this space a little brighter at that time. And get that in.
It's hard to know. Does Medusa have tentacles or snakes?
It's snakes.
But
No, it's very specific.
they're
It's
snake.
very specific. It's snakes.
But is that only because they didn't have a word for tentacle?
No, they totally knew what tentacles
I guess
were.
that's
They
probably true, yeah.
completely had tentacles.
Yeah.
In lots and lots of the mythology, Medusa had snakes.
So you have to wonder, were they attached to her head or are they just like in a pile there? Like, could she grow her hair out for the summer?
I think that girl got, honestly, that girl needed like a Me Too moment because seriously, that was really unfair.
Oh, did you see the statue?
No.
It was beautiful. It was Medusa holding what's his name's head?
Whose?
The dude who came to slay her.
Perseus?
Yeah, Perseus's head.
Oh, cool.
And she was holding a sword and she's walking and it was like it was a huge statue. It was like an 8-foot tall statue and it was done and I saw it a while ago and I thought it was wow. It was a retaking of that story. Like Medusa
Yeah, I'd like to have seen that go. Well, they all got a raw deal.
Yeah.
Seriously, those gods were like the Goa'uld.
Like Hephaestus kind of got out okay, but I'd say that Aphrodite got the raw end of that deal.
Again, consent. Consent, my friends.
They're all down there in the basement doing the janitorial work.
I'm not saying we should change the myths in any way. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying.
I say the revisitation on Medusa was
like
quite
a revisitation,
empowering.
but I don't think we should change them.
No, there's just like you got to keep telling the story because there's a new thing we learned about like, oh, don't tell a story that way. It can offend a whole group of people. Let's try telling the same thing a different way that's not offensive, but it still gets a good parable across.
No, I think that some things were written how they were written. They were written in their time. It's important to be able to look back and see what it was. I'm one of these just tell the history as it is.
Oh, sure.
Not a made-up version of it, not a sweet version of it. Let's tell it like it was, shake that out, and I'll readjust from that place. If it sucked, let's own it. If it was terrible, let's really look at it and go, okay, well, that was terrible. Let's not do that again. No, I wouldn't redo
Clash of the Titans. It was great.
Okay, well, that's a movie, but I mean, I wouldn't change the Iliad and Odyssey, like, for anything.
Well, but you're revisiting it through these different storytelling mediums.
Xena's as far as I want to go.
I mean, like, isn't Xena just another retelling of Tolkien's?
No.
She's like, wait, I never thought about that. Give me a moment.
Nope. I'm painting little tiny tentacle dots, and I am just ignoring you now. Because the thing you say is not important anymore.
Because it matters not to the tentacle creation.
It doesn't. I'm coming here, and you can see I'm just making them smaller in little dashes. There we go. We have a lot more.
So many tentacles.
So many tentacles, so little time.
Well, you actually have all the time you like.
I do.
You can tentacle away.
I'm going to tentacle away. I'm going to make a darker tentacle real quick because there's some little hidden tentacles here. We kind of have going in a Kraken space that we're not seeing. Maybe is going that way. And back into our lighter tentacles. And we still have to go through, we have to outline the tentacles and put a dark dot in the center and shade the tentacles themselves.
That's okay.
So that they have that like nice octopusy thing. Wait. Ooh, so you should make a rewind from one vid from every year in order from start to finish now, maybe? Is someone suggesting that you... Look, only I can paint all my paintings. No one else is ever going to do this. You know that thing where it's like Julia and she like cooks everything in a Julia cookbook? Nobody is ever going to come back. People are going to paint everything Bob Ross ever did before they paint everything I ever did. We're like at 1,100 paintings
You could do that
now.
in an acrylic April. You could paint every Bob Ross painting in like one acrylic April.
In 6 months. Anyways.
How many times did you paint each one of those images? Like 4 times?
Mm-hmm. That he did that too. He would paint his images multiple times.
Yeah, but you did.
That being said, there's a lot of paintings, so I don't know. If I feel like I should give like if anybody ever paints them all, I think we should have like some sort of gift basket.
There's definitely a badge.
If you Pokemon the thing and you are me and you do them all, I don't know. I feel like there should be something for you. Something. Right? Because it's not even like we did like daily abstracts. So easy. It's not even like we did that. We were like, we paint all the styles. All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Because
so as you're going, just remember that your tentacles are, the closer they are to the mouth, the bigger they are.
Mm.
They're all detachable. That's an interesting fun fact for you.
But can they be reattached?
Yeah. And they don't grow a whole new octopus. But it can release a limb if it's in danger.
Hmm.
I like that they camouflage.
Yeah.
That they stick a bunch of junk on themselves. Like they're like, I am dirt. I love that about octopuses. I think they're so cute in that way. But this is not. This is Kevin the Kraken. And he travels, has girlfriend, super busy dude. Philosopher. Yeah. So in the octopus, it's just always a good idea. And we're going to come back and, paint a bunch of thingies. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and I'll come back and add weirdly the tentacle later, but I'm going to go ahead and give some little dots there. You know what I'm doing? Even though I know I'm going to come back later with the red. Might as well give them now, right?
Yeah.
And I can come back with that later. More of this. Round.
Oh, you go
round. Here. We just got to get down here. More of this.
Raheel says, Sherpa, I dreamed of you yesterday night. It was like a dream came true till it was sunrise.
What?
How sweet is that?
Oh my gosh, Raheel, thank you so much. That is very sweet. Gosh, man, I have the nicest community. Like,
Wrong button. Our
Somebody is having a moment upstairs going, I'm so embarrassed.
Push the wrong button.
Happens. Periodically, people accidentally push the wrong button on Facebook and call me. And it's okay. I don't ever answer calls from strangers, so it's fine.
It happens.
But it does happen pretty regularly. I haven't so far called anybody accidentally, but I mean, I could see where it would happen.
More than I thought, I think it happens.
I think it happens more than people realize. And again, we're going to be coming here and shading, so we're just getting them in. Mm. So if you didn't see the color mix, it is Cad Red, Quinacridone Magenta, Cad Yellow, and white to get the interior, the beginning of the tentacle.
Mm-hmm.
It needs so much. Let me get the darker tentacle color going. A bit in the. I'll even add some purple into it. How's that? That interior tentacle can be.
Nice.
A little bit of a oval, little in shadow. And again, that's because there will be a lot of water over it. So you're just putting in like some.
Yeah.
You're saying some.
Some.
Even more
Few.
purple than that, so it like kind of goes back into the background. You want it to feel like there's stuff happening. This is a very dry brush. It's not even neat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come back and make it neat. I come back through and add the neat details. Neat details.
Details.
So many. I got to do these little dudes up here, but I'll need a smaller brush for that. That's going to take. You know, everyone's like, I need to get a bigger boat. You're going to need a smaller brush. Just making sure I have enough for what I'm doing. I'm going to do some small little. And I'll be coming back through with. Can you see as I move the tentacles over towards the side how it twists the tentacle?
Yeah.
Important little deal. How you get the twist. So many little suckers. This is what time lapse is for on YouTube. I know that.
Okay. We're just all hanging out here today, doing some stuff. It's not that. It's like we don't have any place else to be until dark. And then
we don't have any place else to be anymore.
Well, there may be, you're
talking like it was 2019.
Well, the local fire department has some trunk or treats, and I say that pretty confidently because a lot of local fire departments are doing that. And,
be safe out there, though.
You can
be safe.
There's lots of ways that you guys can remain safe, and
there's been some really clever people out there really trying to make it still work.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just getting these in because I've got to go back through and very neatly circle them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do them neatly now if you feel like, you want that. Right now, I'm just getting that first rush of them in. And then we'll come back and tidily paint them as you do. Those little light dashes in. Just make them smaller as you come around. You want them to be diminishing. That's how you get the tiny little delicate sucker.
Mm-hmm.
We'll finish this one up and then we'll come back and detail some of these up. We'll detail the tentacles up. Which, much like the water, it just goes pretty quick.
Yeah.
Once you start the detailing process, you just need a.
This is actually going pretty quick as well.
Different tool. Well, we haven't put any of the splash or any of the other dice in or finished tentacles, but when it's done, I think it's going to be the coolest gaming table painting. And my husband has started a D&D game with the kids, so they can have this as their art.
Yep. It's actually quite fun. There's a lot of resources to do that.
They're very excited about their characters. And it teaches imagination and some really important skills. Oh. Now I'll do that with the smallest brush I have. I can get that into my small brushes. So now I do need to get into some small detailing brushes. That's really just because, you know, as we're going, we want to make sure that, let's see if I have anything else that's teeny tiny, teeny tiny, teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny.
This one's pretty small if I need it. This is another little small tool. So I've got my little small tools out. I've got my monogram liner, and this is a number 4 Raphael Textura. Just want something tiny if I need it. I'm probably going to mostly monogram line it initially.
Okay.
I'm going to take my magenta, maybe some of my Cad Red, but mostly my magenta. And we're going to do a thing. We're going to come here and we're going to outline very carefully.
All right, let me go over there
And I may even get some blue into it so it kind of goes darker.
All right.
Right. I want a fairly dark color. You could get some Diox purple, but I just really, really need a dark color for this to work. There we go. Loading up on the tip. Make sure I don't have paint all over my hand. Trying again. There we go. You have a nice light and kind of a dark inner ring.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little dark inner ring. And there we go. We have a lot of this to do, my friends.
Yes. And that's okay.
Add water to improve the flow. I may take a second brush to come in and highlight as I come around here. Getting that going. And then I'll maybe take my little Textura.
Yep.
And get a new fresh clean water. My waters are all getting quite dirty. I'm going to take my pink into my white and get a very, very light color. Even have a little more yellow in it.
Marie was asking, how much water do you add into paint for it to flow?
It really depends on the paint you have. So every paint you have will have a different amount. I've got a video. Actually got a video list of a place to start, and we talk about how much water is too much water, how much water is too little water, and how much water is just right. We kind of Goldilocks that water in. And really, some paints are much more water sensitive. Even across pro lines, it's not even like you could say all pro paints have the same temperament. I'm taking a light color here, because they really, really don't. They have very different temperaments. See how those tentacles are coming together. Rinse that and put that to the side. I'll go up and do some more. What you want to do is you can add up to 30% water pretty safely. You don't want it to be like watercolor. You don't want it to be very watery. I tend to take a drop over at a time and thoroughly mix it. And I do it with my brush until I get that nice, it's still good pigmentation. I haven't lost the pigmentation. This is why you don't see a ton of octopuses on the channel.
Yeah.
Just because they're fussy. You have to be a little fussy. Paint your octopus.
Yeah.
Little C's inside the tentacles, as you would. What it is that they have little dark centers. And those are important because, you know, that's how that's the sucky part. And as I go here, I will make sure that each tentacle kind of has a little dark ridge there.
Yeah.
It defines it. And that sort of helps the little suckers be what they are. How are you guys doing? Come. Breathe in, breathe out, tentacle away. Little dashes around each sucker.
Yeah.
When I have those little dashes all in, and I want to also bring some of those highlights around.
Mm.
So I've got to now get into a smaller brush to highlight. We can even kind of touch each little sucker here with a bit of a highlight to help it pop,
Yeah.
to help it really show. There you go. When that is all done, I'm going to take a small bright, or probably, maybe I might be able to get away with this number 4. We'll see if it's small enough. And I'm going to come in and grab a little of my Cad Red with a smidge of my quinacridone. Now roughly kind of fade in some of what's going on here and give them some more tentacliness. May need to do it with my round. You see, just kind of creating a sense of that tentacle really popping out. I'm gonna get a little yellow into the mix. I might need to use a different brush. Ignore this brush, not the right brush. It does a nice job of dry brushing. Add a little highlight right here at the top, but I'll let some of it remain in shadow. That's kind of where we're going for our, for that one last touch. Tentacles.
What last thing? The last thing.
I may use my dotting tool just to make this job, this next job, a little easier for me. It may work out for me, it may not. I'm going to take my small dotter.
Speaking of small daughter, she's she makes so much noise?
I don't know. So where we can see the opening of them, we definitely want to grab some of that. Look for something small so I can paint some of these details in on my tentacles. Maybe a little angle brush. Little teeny tiny angle brush. I feel like I have one of those, but I don't know where it went.
Little
I
teeny
watched
tiny.
everything, and so everything is kind of like, oh, there it is. I
It
got
was
a nice little
clean.
1/4 inch angle. That'll give me some good edges.
Yeah.
Where I want good edges. Sometimes you want some good edges. I know. A lot of fussing for one tentacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just is.
It's a very tentacly tentacle.
Very tentacly tentacle. I think that one looks okay.
Yeah.
Looks all right.
Looking good.
Little monogram liner. All right, let's look back at it. Sip of coffee. Contemplate the bad decisions that got us here today.
I don't know. I'm thinking this is pretty good. This is starting to look pretty sharp.
Sookie Sue, November 13th is a birthday. Irene, my Wiccan friend, did an astral chart for me, depending on the moon and whatever is rising at the time. I can either be a Scorpio or a Sagittarius. So it looks like birthday combos. Happy birthday to everybody whose birthday is in November.
There's a few November birthdays.
All right. I'm going to come along here. And give this little tentacle a little bit of a, it's sort of in the distance in the water, but it's there now. We can kind of see it. This is a little bit of that Cad Red, magenta, and yellow.
Yeah.
Just coming in and trying to give some personality.
Looks really good. The tentacles are really starting to pop together. Those little dots helped a lot.
They do. The dots help. Light dry brush, just taking something there. You know, in shadow. We can't really see it. We don't really know what's going on. But guess what we get to do again?
What's that?
Circles.
Circles?
Circle, circle, dot, dot, dot.
A little dot, 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 dot.
And that's just a little blue up to my magenta to create the dark values. And let's just make our little suckers nice. Now, now that you guys kind of know what the sucker process is, we can kind of go through and sort of machine them out, which is just create process for painting all of them. Remember to keep your body posture good so that your back and shoulders and neck and everything are relaxed.
Yeah.
You're not hunching. It's real easy to get into a hunch when you're doing a lot of details like this, especially repeat details, be it tentacles or anything else that you're working on. Now, this piece was a digital sketch that I created so that I could do this painting. Because, obviously there's not a lot of D&D tentacle splashy water reference in the world.
Yeah.
Certainly not with Krakens. So sometimes you've got to do that. Sometimes you've got to go in and do some digital work. A lot of what's coming up in our Grateful Art is about those being digital pieces. And thank everybody for their support. I really appreciate it. I know time is tight, finances are tight, everything is tight right now for everybody. And I'm so grateful for my community that's hung in with us and stayed with us for everything. Too. Now, I don't want to get too crazy up here because I've got to do some dice, and I think I've got to be careful how far up I go.
Right.
I may not want to get my details really, give myself one more, past maybe here or here.
Okay.
Because those two dice are going to be there, so I don't think I should take them up too much past that spot there. I mean, they're there, and something is there, but I may have to even come back and black out stuff. So don't paint up too far. Because these are pretty involved as it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to get yourself too hung up on them. If you have all your colors in fluid, this is a great time to use them. Golden sells its entire palette in fluid acrylics as well as heavy bodied. So when you have both, you can literally switch out the colors and take off about probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes of your total painting time.
Yeah.
By not having to thin the paint. So just taking the blue to my magenta and making my nice dark purple to outline the tentacle. Like you do.
Like you do.
Like we all do, hopefully.
Hopefully today.
I sometimes wonder if during these long paints we should just be quiet. Everyone be calm. Everyone be relaxed.
We're all working on it.
I think everybody's trying to feel better.
Isn't that what our day is about?
Well, sometimes it can be about those things. Sometimes our days are about taking care of others.
Oh, thank you, Beverly.
Beverly, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Beverly, thank you.
Little details coming in.
A little bit. I'm gonna hide these. These are here, but they're deep in the shadow of what will be the water. We want them. We don't want to commit too much of our trouble. Because we'll have to come back and glaze a lot of it out with black and things. We're just lining all of them.
Just keep lining them.
And then we come back and highlight and then dot. Circle, circle, dot, dot, dot.
Now you gave your Kraken
shot.
Tentacle bits.
I don't know. Now you've got your Kraken shot. Circle, circle, dot, dot, dot. Now you've got your Kraken shot. Just lining. Just a slow process. And you come back and you paint out the tentacles with highlights and make them pretty Pretty, 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 pretty. This tentacle's pretty, pretty, pretty. And then dice and water and top tentacles, which we've got to go up and do. Before we get into all of the water and the dice, we got to finish the top tentacles.
Top tentacles.
Then we dice, then we water reflect, and then we're done. One thing I'll say is that we're one of the few step-by-step painting party at home channels that has D&D art. Oops.
What happened? There's a little squidgy. I see
If I have clean water, I can fix it. Because the underneath is dry. Thank goodness. That was scary.
Looks like you saved it.
I saved it. Just coming through here. There we go. Now the turn of the tentacles, the tentacle turns, as they say.
The tentacles. As the tentacle turns.
It does. It feels like that, doesn't it? Just a little bit of a nice shadow around each of these. Just a little left.
Just a little.
It doesn't really feel like a little. It feels like a lot.
I don't know. It feels pretty good to me. I like it.
You know, we used to regularly do like 3-hour lives.
Maybe we should do some more.
I don't know.
It's a 3-hour tour.
I know that our community wants 3-hour lives.
I don't know. I'm thinking they're saying, yeah. We could do a couple. Depends on how you're feeling, though.
I can paint for 5 hours, 6 hours straight.
Can you
pretty
paint
non-fatigued.
for 5
Huh?
hours? Said, can you paint for 5 hours?
Oh yeah, really easy. I could probably paint for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like the hardest part would be just the being awake.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely would take some coffee, some Red Bull, for sure, for me. But that would be the hardest part of it, is the staying awake. I would not really be struggling with the art part of it. I don't know anybody wants to see 24 hours. I like that lady still painting. How weird of her.
I see they're all preferring a live 3-hour tour. See, you get to have a live 3-hour tour, and everybody loves those.
Okay. Well, good news. All of the landscapes that are coming up in autumn, if you check ahead, the turkey's going to probably be there. And turkey's a nice, big, beautiful land, like wildlife painting. And then he's going to be gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on upstairs?
You know, kids.
It sounds like they're moving furniture.
I think they're wrestling.
I may need a rest. Are we allowed to use our restroom break on YouTube? Or it was just Facebook that penalized us, right?
I think it was. Let me see if I've got that. Yeah, I've got that queued up here.
I might take a restroom coffee break, guys.
I understand. We may need a little bit.
We might all need to stand up and stretch and get our second wins.
Have a second wind. I don't know if I don't know how long. I don't know if anybody's seen the what do you call it? Our restroom break.
I don't know. Having a little white highlight. Make sure these showing. They were feeling a little diminished to me. So we've got that. Now we come through and we've got our Cad, our Quinn, some yellow, and then a bunch of white. So we want this to be light color. We don't want it to be fully white, but we do want it to be light color. I'm using this small brush. This is the Raphael Textura. Get a nice calamari kind of thing going here.
Mm-hmm.
Anything up there? I'm going to put dice over it. Again, you just want a small brush that lets you paint inside the tentacle around what you've already done. I think once we get these kind of in,
we're getting pretty close there.
And what we'll do is we'll take a little break and then come back and wrap up painting.
Yeah.
How do you guys think? What do you guys think of that?
I think it'll work.
Kristen Grey Wolf says, "Oh my gosh, so cute! I love painting octopus." So highlight follows the sea, says Tina. Yeah. So generally, I put in the main base paint color just real fast. I outline with a deep magenta. I then come back with a highlight after the sea. We kind of try to put a little sea highlight, like shadow in there, and then after that is a dot. We'll still have some of this to work out up here, as you do. When we get back from our break, I just want to get all the lower stuff done with their dots and then come back in and wrap it up like after that. But I just want to get that base kind of fussiness in.
Yeah.
There's a basic fussy.
Fussy.
Sometimes you got to be fussy. And that's okay. Sometimes the painting takes a little fuss.
Mm-hmm.
And then when all those are in, and remember, we're not really painting above here because we got the two dice there.
Yeah.
We don't want to worry about that. We're going to come through and just dot inside our tentacles. And then we'll have our like mid painting break and then come back and wrap it up. Smaller dotting tool. You can use a toothpick if you don't have my dotting tool, the Galaxy tool.
Yeah.
The Galaxy tool sets are cool because they do splatter, they do snow, they do stars, they do sea foam, all the textures, sand, beach, fussy work like this. Got a small detail brush in it. I think the dogs are going to have a little break too.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are like, I too would like a break. So we're going to come back after the break. Finishing up. This is starting to look okay.
I think it looks pretty great.
I don't know. Maybe the dice, I shouldn't say anything. Maybe the, knock on wood, didn't predict anything. Maybe the dice wasn't accurate. One would hope, right?
So Chris wanted to know, what's the name of that Kraken you always paint?
Kevin. Kevin the Kraken. He's a very sweet Kraken. We like Kevin. We do. I like Kevin the Kraken. You have a boo-boo, you can just paint that out. As you can see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. John's got our breakup. Same bad time, same bad channel, about 5 minutes.
It's well, yeah. It runs the break is about a 3.5 minute loop, and even though we might run a little bit into the second loop, we'll come back right after that.
Yeah.
So by the time you see it,
I'll answer this. Outside the Sherpa brushes, do you like the Princeton Aspen series? I haven't done the Aspen, but I like Princeton as a company. The Textura line I know is very good. I played with that. The Catalyst, not Textura, Catalyst is pretty good. I played with that. I have their mops. I have a bunch of their different brushes. They're good. They're a good company, and they answer their customer service line. So I feel good about talking about Raphael. I feel good about talking about Princeton. I feel good about talking about Escoda, and of course Silver Brush Limited. Those companies I do feel good about. All right. I'll see you guys in 3.5 to 5.
3.5 to 5.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. See you guys. Just a minute.
White sand, blue bay, hand in hand, slept there for days. Light wind, gray haze, eye to eye, we parted ways. Meet me under the ocean. Save me from surface rejection. Tell me you crave my affection. Forever be waves of my ocean. Soft stepped hard shells, shallow whispers in deep swells. Help me catch my breath, we're getting higher. Imagining your face, you're my desire. Meet me under the ocean. Save me from surface rejection. Tell me you crave my affection. Forever be waves of my ocean. Take me back to where it all began. Show me myself without the shell. When beauty was enough to save you from yourself. whites and blueberries, hand in hand, slept there for days. Light wind grace, eye to eye we parted ways. Meet me under the ocean, save me from surface rejection. Tell me you crave my affection, forever be waves of my ocean. Soft stepped hard shells, shallow whispers in deep swells. Help me catch my breath, we're getting higher. Imagining your face, you're my desire. Meet me under the ocean, save me from surface rejection. Tell me you crave my affection, forever be waves of my ocean.
Okay. Whoops, that faded out like less smoothly than I
Than you
wanted to.
intended.
It just went whoop, doop, doop, whoop, doop, doop.
Black Tree
There
says,
you are.
I came for the Kraken. Well, cool, because the Kraken still be here.
There's a Kraken.
So we're going to come around. We're going to finish up what's going on these upper tentacles, and then we're going to paint out and shade out the tentacles that we have low. And we're going to put in our dice and our lower splashes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting there. We are getting there. And our Kraken is super Krakeny.
Yeah.
Krakens be krakening.
I like the details on the water. That is, it's much, especially when you get away from it. It's like that looks really, really good. I really think your water turned out nice.
Oh, thank you.
What are you on to next?
I'm going to take a little of my magenta and my Cad Red and some of my white, and we'll make that first, tentacle little color.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll come up here and tentacle up. And I may even give myself some dashes to help guide.
Sorry about that. Kids are being crazy in the next room. Parents. I think octopus young fend for themselves. They go away and form their own little moving noises upstairs. So which brush are you using now?
I'm using the #1 monogram liner. A mix of Cad Red, Twin Magenta, and a little titanium white. Yellow when needed.
Deep into the detail.
Yeah. So giving our little tentacle a really interesting little twist there, and that's always fun to do.
Mhm. Black Tree wanted to know, can I watch this from the beginning after it's live?
Yes. You may actually be able to rewind to the beginning even during the live.
Yeah, you generally can.
But yeah, you can always watch after replay. The thing is, okay, so here's the trick. If you guys ever want to watch a live show after the live, don't click away. Keep the link because YouTube vanishes the video while it processes it. It still will play, it still works, but it doesn't show it to YouTube while it's processing. So only those with the link really can watch.
Yeah, it just disappears.
And then
for like,
and then in about an hour or so, YouTube puts it back up.
yeah, it generally doesn't take too long. And sometimes it'll immediately have, depending on how long the video is, sometimes it'll immediately have the low resolution version ready for review. Like you can come back and watch it at like 420 or 480, whatever. But then later on, like after about an hour, it'll update the entire HD version. Because we broadcast in HD.
Yeah. So it's just about
Tentacles?
yeah. Keep the link. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. First Moon Babe has 16 siblings.
I just feel like somebody in your family was an overachiever.
That was, I mean,
seriously.
was that a single, well, like, was
somebody in your family was like, you know what? Let's win it, kids.
All right, now either this was
I can't even do 3, so I don't know how you do 16.
like we have a singular champion here, or was this tag team, you know, we were able to have
Take a little of
multiple
my
moms
magenta and
contribute to
blue.
the 16 siblings.
Oh, wait. I don't understand what you're asking there, sir.
Well, I mean, like, was it by marriage?
Are you asking a sister wives question,
Well, no,
or are
no,
you
like,
asking a blended family question?
Right. Was it a blended family? With like, well, either way.
I guess
you could
they're
have
both
multiple-
blended families.
Sure.
I suppose it's both expressions
However
of blended
you
families.
get there, you get there. But I'm just curious, did it all come from one mom, or were multiple moms involved in the 16 kids? Because that's a lot of kids.
So what you saw me doing there was just making a bunch of dark purple. I was using my phthalo blue, quin magenta, and a little cad red as I ponder the nature of the universe that John has presented us with.
I'm reading the comments.
But I have to agree, somebody in your family was an overachiever.
Blended family, that refers to when you have mixed marriages, like,
second
divorces,
marriage and
remarriages. Yeah.
kids, and so so a lot of families are blended, and there's a lot of different ways to be a family,
Wow.
but everybody's family is valid and important, deserves love and protection.
First Moon Babe's parents, 13 girls, 4 boys, 2 parents. That is
Overachieving parents who liked each other,
like,
clearly. You didn't grow up wondering, like, do my parents like each other?
what you could say is that your parents are better parents than all of us. They win. They win the parent award for like most parents.
I'm not even putting up our names for the competition.
We got 3 and we're like swamped. Like we got rolled.
And often going, we should have taken more child development in college.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what's supposed to be happening here. We should have taken more child development in college.
I think it should have been a prerequisite for like
The human race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to teach you what went wrong with your upbringing and how not to repeat it.
Good information to have, man. Otherwise, you're just on all the parenting blog sites going, and they'll have different answers, right? Like, they don't ever, there's not like a consensus.
Yeah, most of us get out of our childhood alive, but we all have a couple of bags that we probably would have happily left along the way.
I want to point out that your mom is sitting upstairs.
Well, that's what I
watching the
said.
show.
Well, I mean, like...
My mom is perfect. But like straight up baby. She's a really good mom.
Yeah, my mom's a good mom.
Your mom is a good mom.
Generally, you can tell a parent by the quality of kid.
I can't comment there.
You turned out pretty good.
I'm okay. I think
We're not, we're not washing out. We're, maybe a bit of an overachiever in some areas, but, definitely not a washout.
So, I'm going to grab a little of my bright red. Thin that out. Just because up here, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a bigger brush involved. Just adding these brighter colors to show the little tentacle. It's quite delicate at the tip. Tentacles are quite delicate at the tip.
But they got to be able to, touch and grab and feel and do all the things.
Very delicate little creatures. And smart. They're so smart. And no, I knew that before my friend the octopus. That guy confused me. Animals have feelings. Dude. The planet has... Okay. Little landlines inclined to that, but I'm glad you got there finally. Oh my goodness. Like, my dad's family is like made a little dot that I needed.
You got a little droppy drop.
Yeah. My dad's family were ranchers from Wyoming. If you're from Wyoming and if you're from Rollins, you'll know what I'm about to say. Not fanciful people. Not fanciful flights of fancy, right? Very practical, because this is a place where winter kills you straight up fast, right? So pragmatic people who had sheep, right?
Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Right. They're a speak plainly community.
For sure. Been my experience.
They knew animals were having an emotional experience and talked about it. So I'm just saying, what? I was like, wow. Like animal husbandry was like a big part of the job. Understanding and creating a humane animal experience. That was a responsibility they had. There we go. I did love my friend the octopus a lot. Like, it's a wonderful thing. It's just that did surprise me. I won't lie to you. It did. It kind of was like, okay. Seems like a weird thing to get stuck on. Just trying to make sure that they've got little dots there too. Or circle, circle, dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
You always want to make sure that you've got that kind of room for all that going on. I'm going to get some little dots here on my little brush. We'll go ahead and put that in the center of some of those little suckers. What you think, guys? How many tentacles does your octopus have? So many. Well, 8. It's a very specific number. Well, you have an octopus with a different number of tentacles. It's something else, isn't it?
It would, yeah. It could be a squid or a kraken or a mind flayer or a rust monster.
You just are about mind flayers today. Do we need to do a mind flayer?
Yeah, well, they're related to the Cthulhu myth. They're tentacle on their face creatures. They're, Let
me tell you something right now. That was a misunderstanding of the Cthulhu myth, because that creature does not have the temperament or stats for that mythos. Too reasonable.
Yeah. What I would say is that it's hard. Like, if you've never played, if you've read the Cthulhu stuff and never read the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, or you play Dungeons and Dragons and you've never read the Cthulhu stuff, then you wouldn't necessarily understand the tie-in. But a Mind Flayer is like a very lightweight, college vacationing version of Cthulhu.
Of anything in a Cthulhu universe.
And keep in mind that a mind flayer is like the worst thing you can run into a D&D universe.
It's pretty bad, dude.
It's pretty much the worst.
It's pretty bad. I'm going to come through and I'm going to just kind of darken this as we come down for where we're going to be putting the dice and the water. It's very glazy. Very, very glazy. Our couple, I'm the Cthulhu fan. John is not as big of a Cthulhu fan.
Amanda thinks a mind flayer would be fun, or an owlbear. I'm fond of
Look,
owlbears.
You know what? I will do this for you guys every once in a while. I'm happy to.
You know, the owl cat is a weird animal. It's a real one, though. I watched a YouTube on it. It's interesting.
Fun of me, and I know you are.
No, I'm not. The bear cat's a real animal. It's kind of, I think
a bear cat, yes, but the owl cat was our version of something. I don't know what.
That was our animal.
That was definitely our animal.
That was in our fantasy world.
For 2 seconds, I'm going to hit this with a hairdryer because I'm going to start putting in the water.
All right.
How do you guys like your tentacles? You feeling pretty good about them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it turned out pretty neat. Very tentacly. You know, I think Cinnamon sometimes forgets you guys are like on a 30-second delay. So she'll be like, how do you guys like that? And then she'll go to a pause, but her pause will like not be nearly long enough because I was saying, you're like, hey guys, how you doing? And then you forget. We're like, we're on a 30 to 45 second like delay. And so then you're like, okay, well then they all exclaim, yeah, we love it. It's amazing.
I remember there's a No, it may not seem like I'm going to add some of our little orange. So this is a little bit of the Cad Red and yellow to kind of create a little brighter color as we come through and start to talk about the tentacle.
There's a bunch of folks. Owlbear. This interesting thing has my attention now. What is it?
What is it?
Is it cute?
If one of the mods can grab a link of an owlbear, that would be cool.
I would say an owlbear is cute if you're not a 1st through 5th level character. After that, they're very cute.
Everything is subjectively cute depending on your level.
Yeah. Rust monsters are never cute. You're just like fire ants or murder hornets. You're just like, no.
Dude, that was about 2 seconds, wasn't it? Murder hornets. I'm so glad that didn't catch on.
Did you see the spacesuits they had to use to catch them? So they found a whole tree full of them, and they were out there in the spacesuits catching them.
Oh
it was
my
pretty great.
Gosh. This year needs to back off. That's what I'm saying. That's why we're doing the lives every day.
What was that web series we used to watch about the gaming group?
It had Felicia Day in it.
Yeah.
It was like one of Felicia Day's first things.
It was her first,
and it
one.
Didn't it have Will Wheaton in it?
I think it may have been. It had him involved, I think. Like he may have cameoed or helped.
No, he was a regular character. He came on there a lot. He was like that punk gaming character that knew everything. And gosh, guys, it was I think it was on, okay, we're going to go back. Come with me in the Wayback Machine, MySpace. I think it was back in MySpace, wasn't it? And it was a web show you could watch. It was just something you had to download. I don't know where did we go to get it?
It was podcasts. We got them on early video.
Yeah, but it was video, and it was like their little series. Oh my gosh, it was incredible, and that's when I became a big Felicia Day fan.
Yeah, that was we should do something on that. That's another good one.
I think that's so obscure. That's like Ask a Ninja obscure.
The Guild.
The Guild. Thank you.
Thank you, Rain Panda.
Who knew it?
Rain Panda,
and Amanda Bailey for the win.
There was like everyone was shouting.
Gosh, I love my community for just knowing that. You guys like it when we make these things all purty?
Mm-hmm.
All purty. Brush split. The brush split because my paint was a little dry and my brush pressure got a little high. What's up? You're coming at me, but I don't know why. My coffee? What are you doing with coffee? Oh, you're heating it? Because you love me? Because you love me so much? Oh my gosh, I love him. I'm just touching up a couple of things as I go. Just making sure that things are pretty. You can also get a little of your magenta and red back and come and pop that a few places. Your Quinn magenta and your red. Make sure that the tentacles are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful tentacles. Just making sure that the hints of tentacles are hintalicious. Hintalicious, my friends. Hintalicious. Moderator Cad Yellow says, I just Googled them and they are not cute. Jolene Edwards, are you Critical Role fans? John, I'm not. Are you a Critical Role fan? I'm not a fan. I'm now a person who's going to go Google Critical Role because it feels like it's a thing I should be a fan of. We are Riffs fans. We're fans of tabletop.
So we play we do a lot of role-playing game around my house. I like the old Palladium systems, and it's funny. Steve Jackson games always have a wonderful universe, but I've not run a lot of games in their system.
I'm gonna take a little blue and mix it back over to my black. Actually, guys, I'm going to do a weird thing. You don't have to do this. I'm going to do some. Put out some fresh paint.
Put out some fresh paint.
Because really, I'm down to the blue, the aqua, and the water. And this is a little gummy. Sometimes what happens is with the heater and with my life, it gets a little gummy. And I am very blessed in that different companies will sometimes send me paint. And that it's my job, and also so I can just budget paint.
Yeah.
So I get that that's completely different, and I'm not using a Stay Wet palette. If I wanted my stuff to stay extremely fresh, I would be using a Stay Wet palette.
Yep.
Probably with like a New Wave glass thing in there. It would be very serious business. So I'm putting out some blue and some black. I'm going to also need to put out some phthalo green and some yellow. I honestly think what will get me the closest to that, you could use Cad Yellow if you don't have the following. I'm going to use some Titanate Yellow because I have a feeling that the closest I'm going to get to that crazy aqua is with Titanate Yellow. We'll see if I'm wrong, but I believe that's true.
I believe.
That's this color right here, TY53. If you don't have it, just use Cad Yellow with a little bit of white in it. It's not the same, and if you want a whole blog about dupes, mixes, even what you can use in deco art to get the color, check out the Art Sherpa blog. Search Titanate Yellow or Naples Yellow. That is not helpful, by the way, when you go paint shopping, because there are many colors that they act like are Naples, but are not.
Then this is where Naples
I'm
came
going to get
from.
my pencils out and kind of draw. Can you do me a favor, babe? Over there in the bowl with the sponge is a little triangle. Teeny tiny little triangle. I'm going to use it because my edges are not that straight. It's over there on the big table, big black table, glass crystal cup bowl, lots of sponges. There should be a triangle in there. Look, somebody's going to come by and be like, I love how she painted the red dye. Yeah, that's happening.
It looks so realistic.
So I'm going to very badly put in some blue dye.
Yeah, no. Kelly was like, I should do underpaintings with leftover paint. I'm like, no. We throw paint away when we're done with like old paint. That's why it gets all sticky and you don't use icky paint like that. I mean, paint cures. That's what happens when you leave it out. And
I mean, it's okay. It's like however you manage your paint is fine.
Yeah, but
They'll
don't
have different stuff going on, and what's wonderful because of the water distortion, we can just imply some of it. There's some of the angles I want to definitely get, like where I'm like angle, and then some of the angles I don't have to be as concerned with. And again, that is only because there's water distortion, right? And sometimes when there's water distortion, you get a little forgiveness in your lines.
Putting some shape stuff in there.
Yeah, I am. I'm thinking shapes.
Shapes.
Shapes. And then I only have to catch a couple of those, and then when the swishy swish goes up, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Swishy swish.
The swish.
Swish.
Do.
It's crazy because I kind of know what all they are.
Do you?
Yeah, I kind of know what's all in the water here. I just want to make sure that I've got, the corners and things that we need. I'll just do that here, and then try to parallel out these lines. And again, the traceable is going to get on the. Whoa, that is not a good line.
Irene was saying.
Traceable is going to be on the website after. So, you guys will definitely some of that back there.
So Irene was saying it would be cool to do an annual couples painting. We do that pretty much. It comes a couple times a year. We do those. They don't want to really schedule them like that, though.
I'm wanting a bright with a nice crisp edge, so when I paint this, or I can get. Oh, you know what? I've got my angle. Perfect brush for this. This is the most awesome of the brushes. It's a 1/4 inch angle brush, ruby satin. Fantastic. You should love it. Love it so much. I'm going to take my green and blue and mix them together in a 1-to-1 mixture. Maybe a little more green than blue. And I'm going to take a small amount of that over here. A little more blue. And then I'll get my white involved. I think I should have a really fabulous set of crazy dice.
Dice falling in water, a subject matter not often covered
in your regular
tutorial.
art classes.
But for those of you who would like to know how to do this, the Art Sherpa is here for you. And I'm here to heckle her, so you can all have a good time.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy you so much. You can see how the angle brush gives you some really terrific sharp edges. And just a slightly darker value. I'm going to just dry brush very gently back a color. That will help when we get the water involved. Get a nice light version from here. And paint a little light triangle. And we get the darker. And paint that back. I'm going to come here and do this. And then there is some reflections that are happening. We can put in the water here that we're going to be doing around
Gotcha. You're using that paint just around little places.
Yeah, so that it's peeking through the water. You do want it to peek through the water. I'm also going to take a little white on my brush, and I'm going to come here.
All right.
Line. This will help also create that sense of angles.
Angles.
You don't want too many. You want a few. Because otherwise, it doesn't feel dicey. I'm off Love Piece Ectoplasm Grease.
Yeah.
That's an excellent out, Black Tree.
That's a Halloween out.
That's a fantastic out. We have tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Girl Going Into the Woods and every day. We have 3 watercolor classes and 4 acrylics all next week under the topic fantasy. They're all fantasy. All of them. I'm going to add a little white to my blue so it shows. And they're all going to be little distractions from our day. We don't need them. And put a little darker kind of blue over here, just pure blue. I see that we're building those out. Maybe a little blue coming back from here. Darker though. And a little white into some. And then when we have that going, we're going to also highlight with a little bit of white. Load up on the edge. This is a great edging brush. Let's get a little of our blue. And through here, we're going to add a little blue because it will reflect up.
Yeah.
And so whatever else you've got going on, it will reflect up. I'm going to put out some fluid paint. Very badly paint in numbers. We're not even going to pretend it's going to be anything else. Just. It is what it is for me, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my #1 monogram liner. I'm going to dip it into the fluid paint. I'm going to do what I can.
Ooh, that looks nice.
You love me. Just trying to breathe slowly. Just use the neatest handwriting I have. Which is moderately neat. What's sad is I did have lettering classes.
You do a pretty good job.
I did have a lot of lettering. Including font creation. It's pretty sad. But the good news is Instagram is full of stuff.
Yeah.
With lots and lots of lettering tips. Super glad that I had the lettering classes that I did have.
Yeah. I think so. They look really good, the letters.
Okay.
They look very gamey.
Yeah. All right. That's all the lettering you want to do. It does enforce that sense of the D&D. The D&D. It enforces that sense of the D&D. But it does. We're going to take a little of our blue and a little of our black, mixing those together so we get a blue-black. And let's make a light enough gray. Very much like what we had up top. Let's start painting. You got to get enough water in there for it to flow off nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, guys, it's going to be not just about all this, but it's going to be about the highlights. You got to get it even up onto the dice a bit.
I like how you're making little splashy the waters.
You got to splash the little waters up. That is the tricks. We're actually kind of coming to the end, guys.
Yeah.
As we splash the water, we will have made it. It's an involved water splash. I'm not like kidding you, but
Mm-hmm.
now remember, even if you take out too much anything else, don't worry, don't panic, because you can always put it back.
Mm.
Now I may come in and kind of like blend that through there. That's just because I'm trying to get that sense of the water bending light. Julian Edwards says, I painted a bunch of dice on a 24 by 36 canvas and the numbers were the hardest to paint, so I feel you.
Mm.
On a 24 by 36, the hack I probably would have done is I probably would have found the font for the dice and printed out the numbers to scale on paper and transfer them using the tracing method just so that I could do it. Because if I had to freehand it, it would look artisanal. Very, very artisanal. The most artisanal. No, what's
The
interesting is just
most.
kind of a little twist here that I really like.
Artisanal.
I would say this is one of the more unique paintings on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I really like how the dice are turning out. It's hard to know what's my favorite part. Dice or tentacles?
I think they balance out well together.
They do.
I think dice and tentacles just are meant for each other. Like, I feel like I could, if things don't work out on YouTube, probably get by doing gaming art. You know, if you see me out there in the world doing gaming art, I'm like, must not have worked out on YouTube. Just doing gaming art now. I'm gonna use a little blue into that mix and building it up. You can see why it's nice to leave a little bit of that deep red there, because then it makes those tentacles feel like they're there. No joke. This is no joke.
No joke.
Nate Phillips says the splash of color is beautiful. Haha, yes, uniquely beautiful. I love how she did finger quotes and said artisanal. That might have been revealing more than I meant. I'm going to add some of the bubbles over here while I'm sort of thinking about things.
Yeah. Some little underwater bubbles.
They're a little like interesting, but in some sense more involved to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, to try to get them captured the way you might want them. Underwater bubbles and give you the griefes.
Yeah.
I would say that is like the more like, oh my gosh. For me, that would be where I'm like, oh, come on, Sherpa, you can do it. We got to get those going, and then we'll really reveal these probably with highlights. That's when they'll come into play. I just wanted some bubbles coming up though, because he should be churning the water.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Churning.
A little rise of bubbles coming up from beneath the subterranean depths. Taking a nice little look at that. Mahum Abrin says, what is the meaning of this painting exactly? So, in the literal sense, it's fan art of Dungeons and Dragons, the game.
Yes.
The meaning, though, if you think about it in that sort of sense, is... Okay, I'll make it a little meta. You guys come with me, okay? For me, when I designed it, it's that idea that when you roll the dice, when you start a game, a tabletop game, you are submerged into adventure and danger. Like, I mean, like that's the dice is you jumping in the deep end. That is meaning. But, you know, if you game, that makes a lot of sense. If you don't game, that'd be like, okay. If you think that that's what you've done, fine. But that is where I was coming from. So if you game though, you know what I mean.
I do.
back and forth, kind of creating the action of the angle because they're thrown in an angle.
Yeah.
Because unlike my first roll that I totally failed, you know, generally when you throw down dice, that's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
Toss them. Hope that it all works out. Hope the DM is not sucky.
Hopefully.
Depends on the DM's mood and how much
It
food the DM
does.
got. DM feels like the DM was respected. Creating that sense of motion of that dice coming down. And then it's just about getting that water effect. Just honestly, it's just very relaxing.
It is. I like the realistic nature of the water and the dice and the tentacles. It's just a really neat painting.
Mary Youngblood says if she tries this painting, she's going to have to use her cobalt teal. And Beth Mulligan taking a chance, sink or swim. It is like life, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we still have to come through with the white highlight too, because that's when it pops. That's when it is what it's supposed to be. And it will take all the details for the piece to be as special as it could be.
Yeah.
There just isn't a
That's cool.
skip the details kind of thing. If you ever wanted to know what to do about underwater bubbles,
Yeah.
you are now covered. You can kind of see that I get on the toe and I wiggle a little line out. I don't try to make them particularly large, and I make sure that I capture some of the lighting highlights of the bubbles because the bubbles are very refractive. Little dots out. And again, we haven't even gotten the white in play, which will definitely make this special as it goes up and it does its little thing.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just the air. I mean, it's like it's even pop, but the air is moving up the water. And yeah, I do kind of like go around and get some stuff done. Making the little highlights of the little bubbles.
Yeah.
And then by putting them over tentacles, by the way, this dice is moving behind one tentacle, and it gives, this is that object placement we're always sort of talking about, which is where the object is in relationship to other objects is what creates it. And sometimes all you can do is the highlight.
Children.
I've got to be so bored with all of this.
But I like how this is turning out.
Well, they'll like the painting in their gaming room for sure. Well, I'll like the painting in the gaming room. I'm gonna get this is the one that I think I'm gonna get the bubble glass for.
Yeah.
And the really good Victorian frame. That moment when you realize that you're just painting along with the Sherpa because she's doing a painting for her own house.
Or from my room.
Mm-hmm. I used to give art as gifts.
You still, yeah. Not as much anymore.
No. Painting all the time. John caught me doing fan art last night. I was like, I know it's not for anything. I'm just kind of doing it for myself. I'm like justifying this whole like art that has no purpose other than I needed to do it.
Just funny.
But then my daughter saw it this morning and she was so excited because she's, going through the same thing. I'm going to come down here that I am. And it's nice when you can share that. And yeah, we still have to. I wish I could tell you guys that there wouldn't be any more to do, but we still have to come through with the white highlights or it's just not going to look totally perfect.
Yeah.
I love creating a little.
Yeah.
And again, if it doesn't work out, you'll see me at a con doing this stuff. I think it's working out though. On YouTube thing. Facebook is coming out okay.
Yeah.
Right after this, I got to go get everything ready for your mom's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a virtual birthday
Indeed.
so that our family can be there. Everybody.
Everyone can then be there.
Isn't that fun how that comes together?
Yep.
When you're painting little bubbles within a rush of water, sometimes it's nice to capture their shapes and then come back with a rush. That way you've got your bubbles, like your defined bubbles, and then you can come in and hit your rush.
Yeah.
Of water. It can be useful. This is the wrinkling of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I love the wrinkling of the water. I could just paint things being dropped in water all day. Fruit, dice. It's a lot of fun.
It looks really good.
You see, I'm just being very light, using the off-white. Where I show those ripples and how we talk about those ripples in the painting. Little blue, smidge black. Keep that color rolling. Come here and do something like that, like where the pattern comes in. That's super useful.
Yeah.
In showing that it's water. And then honestly, as you start to become used to this stuff, you can start to get the sense. It's like when you learn how to do bark. There will always be times that I'm adding a little blue into this because there's this nice Interesting reflection there. Bending the water back. Again, also sometimes you want to leave areas that are very see-through.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, then it won't feel like the water that it is. We just finished the bubbles here, and then we come through and highlight everything, and we will have done it. Shockingly enough.
Yes.
Now, when you're painting bubbles coming up from the bottom, it's a good idea to do the big ones first. Fantasy art, if that's an art form that you want to really do, is always based in realism.
Mm-hmm.
An understanding of objects and what they do in what circumstances, what environmental factors and specifics. How is light going to land on this? And the D&D book I mentioned earlier, the cookbook, like you look at that cover, that like covered, it's like the lighting you can. It's just spectacular. I could like talk 30 minutes about why that painting is on feet. But they could not have done it unless they had done a bunch of studies of that type of lighting just generally. Wouldn't have been possible. They wouldn't have got there. They had to have that understanding. And whether you're a gaming artist or digital artist, especially for doing fantasy, just having that basic kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
Are we talking hooker's green? Or are we talking crochet?
There's lots of different kinds.
I'm not going to say it because they'll demonetize me.
Could be.
Well, it doesn't matter the context you say certain things on YouTube. They just demonetize you.
It's true. They're just like...
They don't care about the context.
We're going to just make sure.
We're blessed to still have some channel oversight and review. I know many, many creators don't get to have that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's look at this overhead, and then we're going to get into the white.
Looking pretty good.
I probably will stay with my same brush. I'm pretty happy, though. I guess I'll start over here because it's closest. Just going through and capturing those highlights. Which, as you can see very quickly, makes it bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly makes it bubbles. Just coming through, toe of the brush. Making bubbles.
Yeah. Those bubbles look great.
capturing mostly the top edge and a bit of the highlights in there, right? So we're just trying to little bits of pops of little water reflections. Well, hello, HD. I can't say your name. You're all consonants, but you know who you are with your emojis. I don't know. That's a lot of emojis, man. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think that it may have held the emoji.
Yeah,
Sorry about
guys,
that.
if you so here's the thing. Sometimes if you do too many emojis, YouTube flags it. Doesn't really matter what you were saying because it doesn't speak emoji.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes, you have exceeded your emoji limits. I found like you can get away with like a few donuts or.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you so much. This has been an involved enough little lesson where I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're making stuff.
Thank you, Patty. And again, I hope you told Norman how much I appreciated Norman's thoughtfulness. Oh, Essa was wanting to know if we will stream on Twitch again. Essa, you must have had your ears burning because we were literally just talking about this idea of getting back into simulcasting and doing that.
You'll probably see it. We've got some of that stuff that I'm working on right now, technically speaking.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some tests, getting it closer to that over Thankful Art. Oh, doesn't that little run of bubbles look fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
I love that little run of bubbles. All right, let's start putting in some details here. Yeah, that's where the water move. Let the river run. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. So Tina, this looks really hard. So Tina, this is very interesting in art. Art is hard when you don't have the skill set. When you develop the skill set, then it's just about your imagination. So if you just put the expectation that I need some shading skills and I need some value skills and some brushwork skills and a little color mixing, very quickly 3 hoop paintings, that's our highest rated difficulty, becomes 1 hoop paintings, our easiest rated difficulty. They just become longer, right? So it's really subjective to the amount of art skills that you currently have. And just know that everybody can develop the art skills. So as long as you're realistic about the pressure that you're putting on yourself, you can get anywhere you want to in art. So Irene's like, the devil's in the details. And Amanda says, good job on the bubbles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do like her bubbles.
I love doing this stuff. It's make me happy. Just getting them dice flying through the water, sir. Flying. Yeah. The dice, they fly. Fly through the water. And those little highlights. Never underestimate a fussy little dot.
Yep. Those are turning into nice little dots.
You can see I just move along the little wiggly lines that I've already done. So the skill I developed to be able to do this is the ability to look at a texture or look at an effect of an environment and then mimic it. You could do exactly what you see, like, but just understanding, oh, the water ripples in this way and this is how it catches the light, and then just randomizing. Tina says it's really popping. Tammy retracted a message, which I assume is like a spelling error because I do that all the time.
That happens.
And then First Moon Baby, Hooker's Green is named for the first botanical illustrator, William Hooker, who created the pigment just to convey the exact green of the leaves. Hooker's Green is awesome. Very gorgeous, gorgeous green. And those water ripples going. That dog is snoring at my feet, just so you know. And it's really loud. At least it's not the farting like it was the other night. That was the worst farting.
Oh my, that was intense.
That was like, who fed the dog poison?
I was all of a sudden being blamed for something. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh my.
Oh, it was really bad.
And then it hits you. Whoa. That was interesting.
And A says, when Steenstrup finally published his findings, he concluded that the Kraken was real and a species of giant squid. He named it Architeuthis dux, meaning ruling squid.
The ruling squid. I'm telling you what, if you're a squid that big,
you do rule. Even the whales fear you. Because they eat whales, I believe. They found like suckers on whales. Sucker marks? Big ones. Big honking ones.
Yeah, it's really
completely works for me. I delivered on the promise of this painting. I always take any of the lessons that I put up on the channel as a promise to you guys. Like especially when I schedule them out and I use any kind of references before doing the painting. And I love when I keep my promise.
Mm-hmm. I like. You definitely delivered.
I love the dice just shooting through the water. And now you can see why I didn't have to paint the whole dice and then paint it out. I just had to capture some of it.
Yep.
Which is such a relief. I looked at other dice still lifes because I really wanted to do another D&D still life this year, or D&D based painting.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, you know what? Well, everyone has a still life, like some flowers and some fruit and stuff in their house. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool for people to game to have like some dice, some figures, and like some Mountain Dew? And so we looked at doing that, but this ended up capturing my attention and I just had to do it.
It turned out pretty good.
But I was like looking at the dice when I was trying to decide if I was going to do that. And I was like, man, dice are not going to be fun. It is not fun. Because it's very architectural. And this is what's going to get me through November 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be here painting through 1st to the November 7th. If you need a break from your day or crazy or whatever's going on, we are going to be online every day at 1 p.m. Eastern. You come by, you chat. We're not even going to say what it is. We all know what it is. We all know where the stress comes from. You come by here and you get a break from it.
We're being here for no stress, just so we can just hang out together and do some paintings and enjoy the time. Time to notice how cool it is to throw dice in the water and paint them.
You didn't even know that it was this fun.
Did not even know.
Art by Kim says that her husband, his dice spilled out and it looks way cool. He wants me to paint on a very large canvas, but it scares her. Beth Mulligan, would you suggest doing this on a square canvas, stretch out the tentacles, and add more head? So I really only designed the round area, but if you look at, you could put this on a square and then you could have the extra white and then you tape out the center. You could also use the tentacles to break that space, making the white part of the canvas that's not painted and this part of this canvas sort of like it's like the artist equivalent of breaking the fourth wall. If you just wanted to do it square, yeah, I would square this up, and you may not even need to add more tentacles. You might want to just add more bubbles. I think it would square beautifully. You might just need to bring the tentacles down flatter down here. This would be the area you would be adding more down low.
Down low.
Down low. Oh, nope. The dog decided to get me. I shouldn't even have mentioned the farts. Shouldn't even have done it. I know where she is. I know what could go on. I know what I'm up against. Why did I even say anything? You can see we're moving the bubbles in front of that tentacle. Very important. Creates space and scale. It's 1 a.m. in Pakistan. Good morning, Pakistan. How are you? It's time to get some coffee. That's what I am. Thank you for staying up and painting with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Beth is going to do this on a 20 by 20. That is going to be awesome. Nate says the breaking the fourth wall sounds awesome, and that look is so effective. Yeah, especially if you want to take it even onto the frame. Remember, you can break your wall. Oh my God, the dog died.
Twix, come here. She's down there looking at you. Come here, Twix.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Twixie. Twixie. Oh, she was sleeping too. She was like, I gotta wake up. Those were sleeping dog smells. Come here, you.
Oh man, I can't keep going. I can do it. I have a job.
I'll send her along the way. You go.
What's in my mouth? Oh my God. T-shirt. She's looking at. No, she's coming back. She loves me so much. Oh my God, she looked at me and said, "No, I like it there." My
That's
happy
funny.
spot.
Funny little dog.
We need to really think about this dog. Donna's like, I'm glad we don't have smell-o-vision. Fried sardines. Yeah, that's what she ate, fried sardines.
She very well could have.
Ooh. Breathe in deep there.
You'll make it.
If I lit a match, the room would blow up, Beth. This is dangerous. This is how much I love y'all. I still get the lesson in spite of my pain. Oh my word. That was extraordinary.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's a really pretty painting. I'm sure it's worth it. Just dropped my brush from weakness. My eyes are burning. Continuing on, art is pain. Art is pain. Isn't that what Debian said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pain is pain. This is where you start paying in blood, sweat,
Blood and sweat.
dog farts, YouTube metrics. We're getting there.
You are getting there.
The room's clearing out.
A little better.
We have scented candles, Anne, because we're testing them. Because we're making them and testing them.
We are making scented candles. We'll have to.
Okay. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to come over to my last little run of bubbles.
Jessica, I want to come over to the side view there.
Yeah. I think it's looking pretty good.
I think it looks pretty fantastic.
Very happy with this
Yeah.
piece.
I am too.
Who was the weakest link last night? I feel like, see, what happens is, Patty, is that Twix comes to see Linda and her wonderful little papillons who are spoiled. And they get treaties. And I think I know Twix a couple times has eaten all their treats. Like all of them. Like she's stolen them. And I'm not sure if it's that or if she's sneaking. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Moderator Lynn QC. Great effect, Cinnamon. She's like, I'm a moderator. You're probably a moderator on another channel. Thank you very much, moderator Lynn QC. My mom's channel. You'll have to ask my mom, Lynn, about Tank. He could drop one too. He could drop a rough one. Wonderful dog, such a sweetheart. Ooh, that dog has stomach. Hooked up some evil.
You know, I think that dogs in general are capable of removing pain from walls. Because they just, they experimentally will eat anything.
You guys can kind of see this process, how we get there, the little marks and dots and things that we make.
Yeah.
To try to say that the water and how we don't paint see-through things, we paint the reflections on see-through things, right? And that's what's fun. I think the first barrier in art is that idea of what things are made of that we paint, making them feel very difficult. Because you'll think, well, how would I paint a cloud? It's made of moisture or fog. It's made of low groundwater, but never painting the texture. You're always painting the light reflecting on it. Be it a flower, a rock, a glass, a wave, a weird underwater bubble with krakens. One of the funny things when I do this is like, so sometimes other YouTubers, they have a particular bent of type of art that they do.
Yeah.
And then, what I do is like, not necessarily something they would initially consider, but then they'll see a piece like this and they're like, oh, So, oh, you paint? Yeah, all the time.
You paint a little.
I paint a little. I got a few skills.
Those look really nice. Looking good.
I think we got there. We got there, guys. Let's
It's
take a look at it, see how we did.
All right.
Norman may need to send Twix some probiotics.
Mmm.
Donna says skunk and vomit is her nemesis in smells. Mia says, wow, that's crazy how great you are with painting. The painting looks better than the picture. Thank you so much, Mia. That's one of my favorite comments. I love that, to hear that. You know, I really appreciate it, because these, from planning to finish, sometimes take a lot of thought. Even when I'm working from a nature reference, there's still a lot of thought. I spend a lot of time with the references thinking about how we will get there. And I always appreciate when you guys are like really happy with how it came out. I'm going to take, I guess, my blue and perhaps a little white. I don't want it to be mistaken for a bubble is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to come here.
Okay.
And I'm going to just put my little moniker. Sometimes I like to sign in weird places in weird ways. But I do like to keep in mind what I've already painted.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to disrupt that completely with my signature. And some of that is just that my ego is just not that big about it. just like, I understand you as a collector might need to know, but me as an artist is not that concerned that my signature be on things. For me, it's just getting a chance to paint something like this with you on a Saturday, something that isn't maybe traditionally on the platform, maybe isn't, everywhere. I don't know if this will make it to the Roku, how long it'll take to get Roku, but can you imagine being on Roku and be like,
It may be
deep painting, what? And then come to the end of that, like, this woman is crazy.
Actually, I don't think it'll take that long for this one to pop up there at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool. Thank you guys so much for your time. Please, if you're free tomorrow, come by at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to paint a beautiful princess in autumn, scary, kind of mysterious fairy tale woods. And then we've got a beautiful castle in watercolor and a field with I'm going to show you a really cool trick for doing the spider web. They'll do a spider web in there. And then we've got a cute fat little bird. He's going to be awesome. And then a cute, really one hoot watercolor autumn fairy. And then a fat little mouse on a dandelion. And then a gorgeous set of steps, stone steps in fall colors. And then a fat little owl and mushroom kind of fall fairy tale, very fantasy scene. So it is going to be 7 days of amazing fun art. Be safe out there.
Thank you, guys.
Take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you in an easel really soon. Bye-bye.